Today it's story time. I'm going to tell you about the two best con artists I've ever met. And of course, they were in Paris. I'm the Mad Traveler. I'm traveling the world, and this is my adventure. Let's start with the first one. He's no master con artist, but he was damn good. Now, who do you trust usually when you go to a foreign place and you know no one and you don't speak their language? Well, usually it's someone that speaks your language without an accent and might actually come from where you come from. But in Paris, you can't always trust that. So I get my bags, I go to the metro station. I've been to Charles de Gaulle and Paris maybe 10, 20 times before. I know what I'm doing and where I'm going. So on the way to the metro station, a guy starts talking to me. I believe he was British, but he was definitely not French. No French accent, not at all. We just start shooting the shit, no big deal. As we get to the metro station, he starts to develop a story. Now, first warning sign, if you just met a stranger, they usually don't have some sort of story to tell you. So, we get there, and I'm going to buy my ticket, and he creates some fantastical story that his wife was there with him, and she is God knows where at the moment, and all his bags are left at the hotel. And the actual story isn't that important. What's important is that it was believable. It was something that I may have done in the past. It was something that people actually do where they get their bags stuck and they need money for it. But bells start going off in my head. Why is someone telling me so much about his personal life so quick after meeting him 5 minutes ago in the airport? And now, magically, he needs about 15 euros. Well, his mistake was that he said that he needed the money to get onto the metro. And it's very easy to sneak someone on the metro in Paris. So I'm thinking, hey, he's probably a con artist, but I'll be nice and let him sneak in after me. So the second I tell him that, he magically has to go to the bathroom for about 5 minutes, he says, and never comes back. The thing about the ticket to the city center in Paris is that it's 15 euros. So if he cons 10 people a day, he gets 150 euros a day tax-free. Now, the story wasn't so interesting as much as the fact that you are prey the second you exit the plane when you get to Paris. The second you get out of the plane, someone is preying on you, and they may even come from your home country or a country where you think they're going to be friendly. You can see why spending too much time in Paris makes it so that you trust absolutely no one. But the next guy, he was a proper con artist. The real deal, like out of a movie. On another trip to Paris, I check into my usual hostel, go upstairs, shower, come back down, get ready for the evening, join everyone else at the bar, all the other travelers, people I've never before met, and just sit down for a nice relaxing evening, telling traveler stories and just having a good time. There's a guy there. He happens to be the life of the party. About 45 years old, Australian, a traveler, supposedly, and everyone gets on really well with him. He's funny, he's sociable, personable, he's having cigarettes with people, he's buying beers for people, he's having a great time, we're all having a great time. Well, 3 days later, I found out that the guy had disappeared. He was only there for the weekend. He'd conned the hostel out of a couple hundred euros worth of accommodation because he had a private room, so it was over 100 euros a night for that. He had conned them out of maybe 100 euros worth of beer, maybe 50 euros worth of food, and 500 either dollars or euros from one of my friend's credit cards. So, how did this happen? He arrives at the hostel. He's got baggage. He's Australian, has the Australian accent, so obviously he's a foreigner. Easy to identify him as a traveler. He says he doesn't have any money though, but he has money on the way. He did a sneaky little thing with Western Union, I believe it was, where he arrived on a Friday and initiated some sort of money transfer so it would show up in their system, but it wouldn't clear until Monday. Now, he takes someone from the hostel down to the money transfer place to show them this, to verify that he has money coming through, to verify that he can pay for it. Now they trust him. So, they give him this private room for the weekend. Friday and Saturday night, the two most expensive nights. Now he's got accommodations set. Well, he hangs out in the common area and he chats up the staff. Now what he does here is just brilliant. He softens them up, he makes them like him and need him. He finds out that one of the staff is applying for some sort of visa to France. And he mentions that he has connections in the Australian government and can help expedite the process. Lo and behold, he even has special papers, official documents, as it were, to help the process along. He gives those documents to someone at the reception, the person he was chatting up, and then tells them that they have an appointment this day, next week. So now, the people there really, really like him. Not only that, but in the course of chatting him up and being very sociable, he even adds them on Facebook, and they talk to his wife on Skype. Yeah. What he's done is brilliant. He's established a relatively high level of trust in almost no time. So now what happens? Well, they know he has no money, they trust him, they like him, they talk to his wife, they've stalked him on Facebook, checked him out, he's just a nice, lovely guy. And he's hanging out with everyone else, but he doesn't have anything to drink. So free beers for him. Well, not free, I mean he's supposed to pay for them later on, right? Then he doesn't have any money for food. So of course you gotta help him out with food. And this is the best part. What he does, he offers to go and get the people who are working there who can't leave the food. They trust him, so they give him their credit card. So he has a credit card, he goes and he buys some McDonald's food for everyone and himself, or for the people who gave him the credit card and himself. And he comes back, hands it to them, they think nothing of it. Well, what he did is he stole their credit card number. So now he's got free food, free beers, a staff that loves him, other travelers who think he's just a fun, interesting guy. And the weekend is coming to a close. After a lovely weekend hanging out with this lovely traveler, well, Monday comes and he disappears. So he's cheated the hostel out of their money for the room and the beers, and he's cheated the girl at the front desk out of money for the food that he said he was going to repay her for. Oh, and the 500 euro charge that he made on her credit card the night before. Now, come Tuesday, the girl he promised he would help at the embassy. Well, she goes to her supposed appointment at the embassy. She arrives, she asks for the meeting and some specific service, apparently, that he told her about. Turns out the service is some sort of classified service that she is not supposed to know about, so things get really awkward really fast. They question her and they tell her that they've been looking for this guy for quite some time. Apparently all the papers that she has are forgeries, and he's done this plenty of times before. He's wanted back in Australia and apparently all over Europe. They don't really know where he is or how to find him. So here you are trying to do something nice for a traveler in need, only to realize that he has screwed you at every turn. Giving you forged documents, sending you to the embassy, telling you about some classified thing you're not supposed to know about that could get you in trouble, stealing money from your credit card, taking advantage of you to get free food, free beer, and free accommodation. And you Skyped his wife. You Skyped his wife and he did all of that to you. Well, of course, they could never reach the wife again on Skype, and well, he immediately defriended them. It's very sad. When you go to Paris, you can't trust anyone. Anyone. This guy was a proper con artist for a living, wanted by the Australian government and maybe by the French authorities. Not too clear on that part. Wow. Yeah, Paris. Just a lovely place, isn't it? So those are the two best con artists that I've ever met. I'm not saying they're the best ever, just the best ones that I've met. But tell me your stories. Have you met any con artists like that? Or any really intricate, interesting scams? I know that there are a lot of really good ones in Asia. So if you've got a story, make sure to leave it in the comments below. I'd really like to hear it. Make sure to subscribe, rate, comment, and stay tuned. There's more to come.